How did you discover her?
Well, I had seen a reference to her a couple of times, but originally the women that I wrote about were either princesses or duchesses,
Mm.
and of course she was a countess, which is a sort of a level below if you're looking at the peerage. But I'd seen her, and then I thought you can't write about someone without primary sources,
Mm.
and I found out that there were not one but two large stashes of personal correspondence, photos, diaries. So I went and read everything that was in one place. Then I made myself go and read all that was in another place. But then nobody really wanted to hear about it as a book. I talked to friends, I talked to agents, and talked to editors, and they said, "Well, maybe she's a magazine article." And I said, "No, when you see all of the things she did, it really is a book." And if you don't mind my saying this, after about a year, I gave up. I said, "Okay, I've tried and tried," and I literally this will sound odd. I had a conversation with Muriel. I said, "I'm so sorry. I've tried to do this. I've tried to do what I think needs to be done, and I'm going to have to move on." And I promise you, this is the truth. 24 hours later, I had a call from an editor at the publishers who had seen me do an online presentation, and she said, "Do you have a book proposal far enough along that you could send to me?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "And you get extra credit if it's about a woman, because I want something to come out next February during Women's History Month." And I said, "Done." So I sent her the proposal, and within a week, we'd signed the contract. And I thanked Muriel for having made that happen.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, I
That's
know. And
amazing.
some of your viewers may think it's odd that I talk to Muriel, but that's okay.
I
It
think
works.
it's normal. I think it's normal. But I
Yeah.
love the way she got it done. And you wonder, like, how did she do that? But yeah, 24 hours later, that's really cool.
Yeah, she pulled a few strings, thank goodness.
Yeah. All right. When we're done, I'm just making a note of something I got to share with you that's kind of like that and it needs to get out. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe we
Good.
got your next book. Okay, we'll see. So anyway, all right, good. All right, so you heard, so you now where did you find those two stashes of stuff? How did you
Well,
get your hands
well,
on them?
what I first did was I found her grandson, and I just called out of the blue. I got a phone number and I called and said, "I really want to work on this woman. I know she was your grandmother, but is there a lot available?" And he told me to start with a biography of Muriel's father, Ambassador Henry White,
Oh,
that was written in 1930. And I did, and that got me started. Unfortunately, the grandson with whom I talked died relatively soon after that. Um,
which
so,
grandson was it? Who
oh, he
was
was in his he was in his 60s. There was no. We're talking about Muriel's grandson.
Yeah, but what was his name? Was he in the book? Did you?
Yeah, Henry White Saharitas.
Oh,
Um, but
oh,
anyway, at that point, I was really fortunate because using some connections, I found Muriel's great grandson named Paul Church, and he has just been wonderful. I referred to him as my co-pilot because every time I would hit a snag, I would call him and I would say, "Wait a minute, they're talking about two different residences here. Which is which?" And he would tell me immediately, or I would say, "I need to get to someone about this issue," and he would say, "Oh, that would be XYZ." And so he's really been wonderful. And now he's planning. We're going in August. We're going over, and I'll be speaking at the place where all this happened, where Muriel lived. We'll be going over to do that together. So I'm delighted. And as I say in the acknowledgments, the book could not have been written without his help and support.
now he was the grandchild of
He was
Mark.
Muriel's. He was Muriel's great grandson, so he was a grandson of Margaret, the only daughter. Muriel had two sons and
Right,
one daughter,
right, who
and so
married Church,
he's a grandson of Margaret, the daughter.
Ted Church. That was it Ted
Right,
Church?
exactly. That was
Okay.
yes.
Wow. So where is the place? Give me the name again. I've already forgotten. What's the what?
Well, first of all, you have to think about what is now Poland. But
Okay.
at the time all this was happening, this was called Silesia. Silesia now currently is sort of Poland, Czechoslovakia, and parts of Germany. But back then, Silesia was very wealthy because of mineral resources. That's why
Oh,
everybody wanted it. They had coal, they had other minerals, and all of these German and Prussian families had castles there. And in fact, in the Serendipity family alone, the one that Muriel married into, they had 8 different residences at the time. Of course, not all were in great shape, not all were elegant, but certainly the first 2 were.